Yes. I want to take it to the whole different level of Brian getting involved with micro-influencers. I spoke to Jonathan in the morning, and Jonathan is like, if you're working with micro-influencers, why aren't you talking to Brian? I'm like, can I talk to Brian about that? I'm only talking to him about funding. He's like, no, you got to ask for his help. I'm like, okay, so you got an email from me saying, Brian, let's bring some actors, musicians to talk about Shoonya. Let's raise the brand with micro-influencers. I think we, yeah, yes, I did that. Yeah. Right, right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I I think another person is somebody who can understand helping me with the metrics. I mean, I've been able to get the top of the funnel influencers, but in order for it to be repeatable, scalable model, I really need to understand how to build and read data, and I don't have a marketing person, so it's all me who does it. So if you know, like marketing people in your team that are doing this, can probably give me some tips. Um, okay, I'm ready. Mhm, 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 mhm. Oh yeah, I'm ready. Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. I just did. Thank you for reminding. I think, does it need to, can I share my screen to show you if I'm recording it right or not? Okay, just one quick second. Okay, here, is this recording? Okay, cool. Well, we want you to live longer too, Brian. We want this to be success, but we also want your health. So you need to drink that water. Okay. Okay, I'm ready. It's great to see you, Brian. It's so great to see you, as always. Yeah, it happened at Montessori, and it happened when I was watching my kids watch English cartoons and learn alphabets. Leapfrog videos. So they would just watch and they would just learn. And I would say, whoa, if they can learn English like this, could they just learn my language like this? So that was like literally the beginning. But it is actually, I have to give all of the credit to Expert Dojo, because I found my founder's journey at Expert Dojo. I thought I started this company for my kids because I want my kids to connect with the grandparents that live in India. So our kids' grandparents speak two different languages. My parents speak Hindi, and my husband's parents are from Mumbai, and they speak a different language, which is Marathi. So we wanted our kids to be trilingual, just not bilingual, trilingual. But I actually, when I was at Expert Dojo, I actually went deep in to find my own journey, and I found that I never fit in any place. So there was a lot of baggage I was carrying on my shoulder. You know, I was born in a part of India which is called Kashmir, as they say it. And I never spoke the regional language, because in India, the whole emphasis is on English. You go to convent schools, you learn English. So I did not speak the regional language of that state. And in India, every state has a different regional language. But it didn't matter at that time. I was a kid, I was growing, I was like, okay, I speak English, I speak Hindi. But I didn't speak my grandparents' language. They speak Punjabi, which is another language. Never spoke that language. So when I would go to visit my grandparents, I wouldn't really fit in. So I didn't fit in with the locals. I didn't fit in with my grandparents' side of the family. Then when the political unrest happened, we moved to Delhi. And I thought I spoke perfect English and perfect Hindi. When I went to the Delhi schools, my Hindi was not good enough. It was not good enough at that level. And when I was in my undergrad, I was hired to be a TV show journalist and a broadcast journalist to read news. I couldn't read Hindi because the basis of my Hindi was not good enough. And I just couldn't read the teleprompter. So I didn't speak Hindi. And when I came to US to do my master's in filmmaking. I was one of the only two international students in my class. So I was like, okay, never mind, I speak English. But I was the brown girl with a foreign accent. You know, so I have grown with this thread about not being able to fit in with the language of the region in that accent. I met my husband at Florida State University, and we fell in love. We went back to India. I figured I don't even speak his language. They speak Marathi. So when I went back, I didn't fit into his language, you know, his culture. So when our kids were born, I was like so committed that they're going to fit in, just like any other parents. And I started looking for resources. That's when I found that there was a lack of resources in the market. So I took you to my history and I kind of connected you how I saw it. It all kind of came together for me at that point of time. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I ab- I absolutely agree with that. And I think that there is, because of where I grew up in Kashmir and in India, I've always felt that languages are a gateway to a culture. If you can speak certain words to to a person in their own language, it will allow them to connect with you. And I didn't feel that connection. Therefore, I'm trying to give it to the next generation. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the science behind it too. So I think on an average, there are about 6,500 languages in the entire world, and all of them put together have about 800 sounds. When you expose a child, there is science that shows that a child is born as a global citizen. So they can absorb these sounds. When they absorb these sounds, when they can hear the sounds, they can put words together. So what you do to a child when you start exposing a child early on in their lives to languages, you enhance their brain development. So it's good for the brain development. Even if they did not speak the language further on in their lives, if they can just hear the sounds, their brains will be hardwired to learn different languages. So it's good for the brain development. The science that shows they do better in math, they do better in science, so they have lesser biases. And what we are doing is we are doing language plus cultural immersion. So the characters that you see are diverse. They're created for diversity and inclusion. So the more children see it, the lesser biases they have, and the smarter they grow because of their language development. So there's a lot of science behind what you're saying too, other than the fact that, it's just a better global world for kids. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yeah, I love to, and I love to talk about traction too, because that's the fun stuff that we're doing these days. But when I started, this company was started in 2019. We finished our fundraising by the end of 2019. It was an oversubscribed round backed by impact investors and tech coast angels. But before I fundraised, I was really experimenting in my garage. And when I had this initial concept, well, can my child learn my language if I just made it much more engaging? Because all of the content for Hindi was very dated. It was put on YouTube channel. It just did not engage my child. I started speaking to parents, and I was on the board of Montessori. I'm extremely inspired by sensorial education and where education is headed. Um, and I would look at kids, and when I would look at kids in the classroom and I would take stories to them, I found that when we introduced cultural aspects or cultural trivia to language learning, children were far more engaged. They're curious. They have curious brains. They want to learn more. They want to touch and feel more. So the product started. We were beta testing with the classroom here in Santa Barbara. They started engaging more with the product. But my approach was, I didn't want it to be only a Hindi learning platform. I wanted it where we could scale into multiple languages very effectively. So I started speaking to linguists, teachers, what was going to be our pedagogical approach. The more and more I spoke with teachers, I found that there is a standard. It's called the World Language Readiness Standard, and everybody across the world is learning the first 500 words at the kindergarten, first grade, second grade level. And they're like alphabets, numbers, shapes, colors, fruits, vegetables, everybody, whether you're learning Japanese, Hindi, Chinese, Mandarin, you're learning the basic vocabulary. And we thought, what if we took this vocabulary and started creating characters and interactive content that could scale? This was the hardest thing that we did, because it's not passive content. It required hard engineering. the app has to stay light on your phone, yet you have to be able to scale into more content very effectively. And it's not like YouTube, it's interactive content. So we got a Andrew Duncan, who's one of my founding members, is an engineer on our team. He had seen an exit. I met with him. We really connected. He really connected with the mission. He's like, I can build it. And Ashutosh Chitnis, who's the co-founder, had first coded. He said, let me look at the code. If I like the code, I like the mission, I'll join you. He took no dollars. We just started working in the garage. And that was the hard part, was how do you scale the technology to be light, interactive, yet scalable? And we slowly did it. It took us about a year to do it, with a lot of failures. But today we've scaled in 5 languages, English, Spanish, and 3 Indian languages. So we have done it, and we are going after that pedagogical approach. And then, of course, my other struggles were fundraising, having to learn about fundraise, all of that business side of, now I have a product, I'm seeing the conversion. When I would take it to parents would tell me, can you do it for my language? Can you do it for my language? I'm like, yes, I can. But then how do I raise money? So those were my other struggles too. But to talk about, that's how the product came into form. I would love to talk about it. Okay, so if you are a parent or investor and you want your child to learn, let's say, Spanish or German or English, you will have to download 3 different apps in order for your child to learn those 3 different languages, whatever language you choose. So now, for 20 languages, you have to download 20 apps. Some of them are good quality. English usually has very high-end quality content. But as you start going after the Asian languages, the content is pretty dated. What we are doing, and we are the only one who's doing is one single download will get you access to, whether you're trying to learn English or Spanish or any of the languages that we are offering at the moment, with those first 500 words. So think of it like Netflix, like, right? When you get Netflix, you pay for one single subscription, you watch English movies, you watch Hindi movies, you watch all of you're not paying for more content if I want to watch Hindi movies, I have to pay $10 more. No, you're paying a single subscription price for all of the content that they host. Similarly, for us, the same way. And it's game-based learning. So your child is not stuck watching television like this. It's interactive learning, single subscription price for a single language or dual language learning. And that's a huge differentiator. And that's this is how we're disrupting the market. We are early on. We have a first movers advantage with the Asian crowd, and it's a game-based learning platform. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And this is going to be another aha moment that you haven't heard about since we haven't spoken in some time. So last month, when and you'll hear about the traction and the fact that we're working with a lot of micro influencers that are coming from children, their children book publishers. So when we speak to parents, they're like, "Can you do my language? Can you do my language?" And as a team, we are like, "How many languages do we need to scale into, and how many languages can we scale into?" And we have this initial concept, and this is just in an initial phase right now, is that we in our first phase will get through all of the first 500 words. We've developed the interactivity, all of the themes, like for example, we released shapes and colors, 2 themes. They're built for interactivity, for you to learn the shapes, the colors. But at some point, we'll be able to open our platform for teachers of different languages. So if you are teaching your class, because we get a lot of homeschoolers these days who are promoting us, if you're teaching Mandarin to your group of network, perhaps you can record your voice over our content and use it within your network to teach. Because we're giving out promo codes to a lot of teachers these days that are using our platform because they don't have digital content, great engaging digital content to learn Hindi. So there might be an inflection point within a year where we might actually be able to open up the platform to allow other languages and teachers to record their voiceovers and overlay it onto our platform. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Huge, huge. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. last year as we started doing marketing, it was really hard because as an entrepreneur, you come from product side and you don't really know anything about marketing. So the first channels you look towards are the obvious channels, which are like Facebook marketing, Google ads, and all of the good stuff. And we did it really well. But what we found was that we needed to come to parents from trust. We need to build a brand of trust before we sell them anything. And so just selling them directly will not work. And all of the companies that have done really well in this space first have concentrated on building a trust around their brand. So, we started reaching out to different people, but it was in this last quarter that we found a sweet spot, and it happened in December. On my Instagram handle, we weren't even looking at Instagram. My followers were 928. We were just posting some stuff on Instagram. We weren't really focusing on it. Today, I'm in May. My Instagram handle is 16,700. This is how I have grown one handle. But why? Why am I talking about it? Is because it grew with the power of micro influencers. And I have paid $0 on that, which shocks everybody. The way it is, because we went out to parents, and these are parents from US, mainly from blended families, US, Canada, Singapore, some from India, very little from India, and UK. And we started telling them about a product, just like how I pitch to investors. I would pitch to them, I would walk them through what I'm doing, and I would say, I'm going to promote you. And I would look at their handle and engagement. Some of them would have a 5,000 followers, small followers, these are micro influencers. But there were two main criteria. Number one, they should have been accomplished something. So they were all book publishers. They are all book publishers. They published a book. They should be speaking to their engaged audience. One of them is a BBC reporter, so they should have a voice of their own, and their mothers, all of them are mothers. And so I started speaking to them. I would get onto a Zoom call, and I said, I'm going to promote you. So we started running these campaigns called Mom Crush Monday, Vocabulary Wednesday, Multicultural Friday. And I would select these book publishers, and I would promote them. There was nothing in there for me. I got so frustrated with fundraising and what these women were experiencing. I was like, I'm going to promote them. When we promoted them, and now I'm giving up my secret here. When we promoted them genuinely, they spoke to their engaged audiences about us. So we tapped into, this was a cross promotion that happened. We didn't plan it that way, but this was a genuine cross promotion that happened. And we got into a pocket of children publishers here in US. It's called South Asian Kid Light. They're all book publishers, and there more and more of them are joining that group. I'm on a WhatsApp group with them, of mothers that are very accomplished and are either making board games because they're frustrated with the fact that there is no cultural representation in STEM education, or they're writing books, or they're doing something for their kids. I would interview them. One of the mom would in Canada, she said, I said, well, you have a PhD in nutrition. Why are you writing books? You're not earning any money out of it. And she said, well, my child came back home and she said, can you bathe me in milk? Because, there is just not enough diverse content in the books. Then there was another mother who's in Singapore. She said, my child came home and she said, I don't want any, she was making cartoons in the classroom and writing stories. She said, I don't want any Indian name for my character. So where are these children getting all these images? Because in children's media, we still lack diversity. I mean, it has come a long way, but we still lack diversity. And all of these parents are speaking to their pain point, and they're coming together and they're doing something for their kids in their own environment. And we started cross-promoting each other. And that is the pocket. I mean, there are about 23 million families in US with children under the age of 10. So you're looking at a TAM, that's what you would call a TAM. Out of those 23 million families, there are 17 million families that are blended families and are Asian, speak Spanish. They're from all different, they're all looking for this. So we are speaking to the pain point of these parents. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And we started off with 250 subscribers in the month of January. We are hitting about 630 this month. So you have been, you're seeing subscriber growth month over month over month. Now, frustration, you asked me about my frustrations. I'm going to talk about my frustration too. What we need to do is create this into a repeatable, scalable model. I am not there yet. In order for me to do that, what I need to do is, so we are a small team. So sometimes we focus on the micro influencers, but then we grow that. Then we have to go back and focus on the product because, otherwise retention becomes a problem because in the beginning, we were holding our customers to 3 or 4 months. Now we are holding our customers to 7 or 8 months. So the retention has increased and we are getting more annual subscribers. But what we want to do is bring the LTV and CAC almost equal at a break-even point and then have a 4:1 ratio, right? That's real business. That's what everybody is looking for. But in order to do that, we need to produce more content so that when we bring people into the pipeline, they stay in for a longer period of time. And that's where I am at. I've not cracked it yet. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yes, I agree with you. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. We're raising $1 million and we are happy to take more because we're speaking to a lot of funds at this point of time. 50% of the money is going to go into marketing. Now that we've focused, really hyper focused on the top of the funnel, and when we bring customers in, what we do is we create lookalike audiences. We read our data very well, so it has dropped our CAC from $120 to $42. We feel we can drop it further down. So 50% of it is going to go into marketing. One will be full-time marketing salesperson on our team. We don't have a marketing person on our team, so it's very critical for me to do that. then 40% of the money rest is going to be for content, and that's going to be add the content people, so that we are doing faster delivery on the content that will increase the LTV to 1 to 3 years. So that's what we're raising $1 million. We are already speaking to a lot of funds. We have a SPV open as well. We were one of the semi-finalists at San Diego Angel Conference. We were at Octane last week. So we have the momentum with the traction. We have the momentum with the investors, and we would love to bring like-minded growth investors on the platform. Yeah, I'm very simple. It's Rashi, RASHI .Bahri, BAHRI @shoonyadigital.com. So SHOONYA, you can see it here, digital.com. That's awesome. Yeah. Impact. It's the impact that we can have towards the children. It's a very mission-driven company overall. I mean, we're a team of 4 full-time people. There are 3 women in our team. I mean, it's the impact that I'm bringing or I want to have to the society, because just because I felt left out or whatever, I was not always part of the environment I was growing in. I don't want kids to feel that. I think we can create an inclusive world. And when you create a positive message around the company, more people come to you. And that's what we are all trying to do, is creating that impact for the next generation, so that hopefully they can, not creating stuff that they can just engage and the brains can be fried with something that can make it fun, engaging for them, create a love for learning, a love for cultures and languages. So that's the impact that we want to have. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. It's so great to have your support. So wonderful to have your support.